Jessica has been a huge asset to Coach Ellison, helping with the soccer team in her 4 years at St. Francis. She plans to attend the University of Notre Dame after graduation for a master's in accounting. She will sit for the CPA exam and become a forensic accountant for the Indiana State Police or the FBI. Jessica says, "I thank God for opening the door to so many great men who have become family, and I wish them nothing but the best in their future endeavors." Next, we'd like to recognize Alejandro Renteria. Ali is the son of Isolo and Lenore Renteria. Accompanying Ali today is his mother and Uncle Jerry. Ali will finish in December with a degree in criminal justice and a minor in psychology and forensic science. His plans are to get a job with the FBI or another area in the federal government. Next, we'd like to recognize Sam Schlegel. Sam is the son of Jeff and Jennifer Schlegel. They are accompanying him today. Sam will graduate in May with a degree in accounting and a minor in finance. He's already got a job lined up with a public accounting firm starting in May of 2019. And now we'd like to recognize Ernesto Tito Cuellar. Tito is the son of Jose and Eva Cuellar. They are escorting him onto the field today. In May, Tito will graduate with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration and a minor in Finance. After graduation, Tito will move to Chicago to put his education to work. His plans are to get a job in his area of study. Congratulations to all our seniors. Thank you for your dedication, your perseverance, your hard work, helping make University of St. Francis Athletics what it is today. Good luck as you pursue future endeavors.
Taught me years ago. Do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
The Chapel project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
I chose St. Francis because they made a promise that I would have real-world experience that I could take when I graduated, and they delivered on that promise. For me,
is your phone?
Again, we'd like to welcome you to today's Crossroads League game between the University of St. Francis, the Cougars, and the visitors, Bethel College Pilots. We will introduce today's starting lineup.
Training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it like gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout, and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that the buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size, similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to like a normal workout, the burn comes like within the third rep, and then the 30-second break in between, there's no like recovery. I can see the difference and feel the difference. It feels a lot more effective than just doing normal exercises.
Blood flow restriction training is the perfect tool to solve that fundamental problem. But this is something that you don't see everywhere, and you don't see very many places in Indiana at all.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings.
Loving Lord, we thank you for all you have given us, the gift of this day, these athletes, coaches, officials, and fans. Keep us all safe today, free from harm and injury. Help us to love and respect each other and ourselves. And in the words of St. Francis, enlighten the darkness of our minds and hearts. Give us a right faith, a firm hope, and a perfect charity, so that we may always and in all things act according to your holy will. Amen. All right, gentlemen, good luck today and have a great match.
All right, it is time for University of St. Francis soccer here on Summit City Sports. I'm Thad Goff bringing you the broadcast as today the Cougars take on the Pilots of Bethel. And, of course, the difficult stat for the Cougars is it has been 5 games since they last scored a goal. Difficult as that is how it's gone so far this season. Two teams are about set to start And look at this Bethel team comes in at 9-7-1 on the year. Now their leading goal scorer on the season, they've got their leading goal scorer is Sam Beek with 5 goals on the year. Not far behind him are Finn Lubin and Lucas Morera. Those two have 4 apiece. Look at the league standings for just a moment. Spring Arbor is atop the Crossroad League standings. They have an 8-0 league record, a 14-3 record overall. St. Francis, unfortunately, they're right at the bottom. They are 1-5. Bethel, they are 3-5 in league play. St. Francis is 1-5-2 on the year thus far. But unfortunately, it has been 5 games since St. Francis last scored a goal. They'll try and change all that today, and they're going to get the kickoff to get things started. Our most recent game coming against Grace College. That was a road loss up at Winona Lake. Looks like Gavin Rubel will be taking the kick for St. Francis to get us started. And we're underway from University of St. Francis as the Cougars control the opening kick. It's the final game of the regular season thus far. And the kick across midfield, but there are pilots there to defend that one. That was Chris Escalante, a native of Orlando, Florida. You would say it's weird to hear of someone from Florida moving up to Indiana to go to college, but you're listening to someone who moved from Florida to Indiana to go to college. I grew up in Lakeland. That ball kicked across midfield and headed back the other way and redirected by the pilots. Kept in bounds, at least for the moment, by Nick Caccia as that ball bounces into the box. And it's going to be cleared out briefly. Not a long way. And St. Francis has possessed the ball a couple of times thus far in the Pilots' zone, or on the Pilots' side of the field, rather. And toward the sideline, there goes Lucas Morera, and this ball goes out of bounds. And we will get a free kick as Morera was bumped. They'll have to move it back. This is Finn Lubin to take the kick. Check that. It is Morera. He sends it down the field. And past the defense, that is Chris Escalante. Into the box. Shot, and that's wide of the net. Jose Barquin, native of Veracruz, Mexico, missed the shot. And a short goal kick just across midfield. And back the other way come the Cougars. The Cougars still slowing it down. And that one's going to go out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in for the Pilots again. This is Elijah Kerr. He gets it in play. Trying to get around the defender. Trying to get around the defense there. Into the box. There were defenders around. A chance and a shot is too high. Danny Aragine, native of Los Angeles. And we'll have a goal kick here as Braden Kahn gets set to send it out. Headed up in the air by Nunez. And St. Francis comes back the other way. But out of bounds, and we'll have another throw-in. Bethel has controlled the ball on St. Francis' side of the field quite frequently these last few possessions. They'll have a throw-in again. Bethel tries to get it away from defenders, and they work things back. And right there waiting for that ball were the Cougars, but they're going to get the throw in anyway. Nearly taken away and sent back across midfield. We'll get a throw in for the Cougars. Short throw in. Back to Laborde. And that one's deflected across midfield, and this will be a throw in for St. Francis as they start to possess the ball on Bethel's side a little bit more frequently. Can they continue that and get some momentum going? Still haven't scored in their last 6 games. They're trying to end that and get their second league win of the season. First league win of the season for St. Francis came against Marion. That was the first league game of the season for Bethel. But since then, they've not been able to win a conference game. They've tied a couple and lost 5 of them. Into the box, but taken away. That was Chris Escalante. And that's going to be knocked out of bounds, and the Pilots will get the possession again. Short throw in. And that's kicked back across toward the box, but there are defenders all around, including Braden Kahn, the goalie, there to scoop it up. And St. Francis will try to reset. And that gets headed out of bounds. So we're going to have another throw-in for the Cougars. And that's kicked back toward midfield. And we'll have another throw-in, this time for the Pilots. And a long throw it is. That ball gets loose, and then St. Francis trying to get something going the other way. Nearly taken away. That was number 7, Lucas Marrero, who sent it toward the sideline, and that goes out of bounds. A throw-in coming up for the Cougars. We're in the 6th minute of play here at University of St. Francis. Bethel controls across midfield. Defenders all around, but now Bethel trying to push. And we get a trip, and there's the whistle. So it'll be a free kick for the Pilots. Now both Marrero and Ontiveros are there. And it looks like it's going to be Marrero to take this free kick. Nope, check that. It's going to be Richard Ontiveros. Into the box. Kahn knocks it out. And still a chance perhaps for Bethel, but this one's cleared away from the box. And Bethel will try to get something going again, but that ball's sent almost to no man's land. There was only one player there, and that was a St. Francis defender. It was headed just across midfield. And back the other way come the Cougars as that one's kicked into the box, but all alone there is Franklin Joyce. Philip Keller. Philip Keller in goal today. And now Bethel will try to get momentum on their side. No score so far here in the 8th minute. Back upfield come the Pilots, and that's taken away. A good takeaway there by Tito Cuellar, and Cuellar running down the field. Trying to get it upfield. That's away from the box, though. And the Cougars keep it in play for the time being. Defenders all around, though, and we're going to get a throw-in for the Cougars. Into the box, and falling down. That might have been Cuellar. But either way, This is going to simply be a goal kick for the Pilots. And that ball goes across midfield. Pilots looking to create a scoring opportunity, but back come the Cougars. And this might be offsides, and it is. That was Cuellar who got past everybody in blue. And that was just about as easy a call to make as you can find. So this will be a free kick for Bethel. Kicks it short. Not seeing a lot of deep free kicks, except for the one outside the box earlier, and we get a whistle against the Cougars. Excuse me, the ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Cougars. Redirected back towards midfield, but the Pilots look to take advantage. This one toward the box. Pushing towards it, Marrero. He's got a defender with him. Marrero trying to get around. And that shot is wide and much too high. One even went outside the upright. And obviously, between the upright doesn't really matter in soccer. This is one of those fields where the football team and the soccer team share a stadium. There are other schools in the Crossroads League that don't have a football team. This ball goes out of bounds. Unless something has changed recently, Huntington University, my alma mater, does not have a football team. Certainly didn't when I was there. And up until recently, Indiana Wesleyan didn't have a football team. They have one now. But here's a free kick for Bethel, as this is, I believe it's Escalante taking the kick. He sends it into the box, but it's headed out. Stays in play. Bethel looking for a scoring chance. Good push. Shot gets away and cleared out by the Cougars. William Dos Santos had a shot on it off the cross from Jackson Didion. It's a throw in by the Pilots. As Marrero tries to work it around the defenders. Good takeaway there by Tyler Laborde. And he sends it across midfield, but there's a defender down there. He sends it all the way to the box. That actually stays outside the box, so Bethel will get to reset. And this ball goes out of bounds, and the throw-in will go to St. Francis. Laborde to throw it in. St. Francis now looking to create an opportunity. Through a bunch of blue shirts. And that's going to be cleared out by the Pilots. And now they look to get going. They had Marrero pass the defense. Good defensive play, though, by the Cougars. That might have been offsides had the Cougars not gotten a foot on the ball. And now they may have an opportunity. Right now, outside their own box. And a lot of contact down there, and we are going to get a call. Or is it just a goal kick? It's just a goal kick. Two players ran into each other. It's almost surprising that there was not a foul called inside the box. I believe that would have led to a direct kick for St. Francis. Instead, no score. And we are in the 13th minute of play. Defenders all around in front of this ball. Some contact there, not nearly as much as one went on along the end line moments ago, so no call. Not surprising. This ball goes just across midfield. And Bethel will reset. Bethel won their last game. That was against Indiana Wesleyan. It was over at Bethel College in Mishawaka. And falling down there was Marrero. He's able to control it. but he's got defenders all around him, and this ball goes out of bounds, and that's going to be Bethel's throw-in. And now the officials blow a whistle, and we'll see if Tyler Laborde might have earned himself a yellow card. Well, he threw the ball at one of the Bethel players. And nope, no card. Well, the officials stopped play just because of him throwing the ball at an opposing player. It was not violent, but it was clearly in frustration. That ball taken away by the Cougars. And they still keep control of it. That was number 72, Alejandro Renteria. And it's headed away from the box. And back the other way come the Pilots. Cross to the middle, that's taken away. Not for long, though. Bethel trying to get control. Or St. Francis, both teams trying to get control, really. And now a player goes down, and we're going to get a whistle. See who that was that went down. Well, it's going to be a free kick for the Cougars. And it looks like Tyler Laborde is going to take the kick. As they get everybody lined up just inside the box. Kicked up field and cleared out by William De Los Santos. Dos Santos, I beg your pardon. William Dos Santos. That ball goes out of bounds. We'll get a throw in here for the Cougars. As a sub comes in, that I believe is Gavin Rubel. Kick toward the box, and that's over the net. Philip Keller, he's 6'5". He stretches his arms up. He's about as tall as the net. But even he couldn't get to that shot. As Bethel works it around their own box. So we've got less than 29 minutes to play in this first half here in Fort Wayne. Kicked up field, and it's headed back the other way by the Cougars. And Bethel's probably fortunate of that because they had a player who could have easily been called for offsides there. That was Jose Barquin, number 26. Yeah, and Keller can't touch that with his hands, so you say, why can't the goalie touch it with his hands? Because he was outside the box. As long as he's inside the box, he can touch it with his hands. But outside, he has just as right to touch the ball as the rest of the players on the field, which is 0. And one taken away as now Bethel tries to get something going. Both teams have had opportunities to get something going. Neither has had an easy shot on net. Moments ago, the Pilots did have a chance to get a shot off. Dos Santos unable to put a shot on net on a cross from Jackson Didion. I believe that was in the 6th minute when that happened. This ball gets taken away by the Cougars. Cuellar trying to get it across the field. Sent a long way, but there's defenders there. That was Didion, who had the near assist earlier in this half. But we remain scoreless at this point. St. Francis going for the takeaway. They've got it. Sent into the box, but again, there are defenders there, and that's knocked out of there by Keller. He tumbled and fell down. Not seriously, though. He is okay. And I believe that was Keller who was shouting, "Come on, get up." Or "Come on, wake up," I believe he was saying. That one's cleared out of the box. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Pilots. Looking for the takeaway there was Sam Schlegel. And he got the takeaway. Trying to get it back to Schlegel. His pass redirected. Redirected again. Shot way too high. And way too wide as well into the seats. "26 minutes to play in this first half. No score between the Cougars and the Pilots." This will be a goal kick here for Keller. Now, I mentioned Bethel's last game was a win against Indiana Wesleyan, a 1-0 win. Before that, they had a 5-game losing streak going on. Up until that game against Indiana Wesleyan, their last win was against Taylor. A 4-2 win on the road. And now we'll have a throw-in for, a free kick for the Cougars. And they don't try to score right off the kick, but just try to get a possession going. May have a chance to score here. Kick into the box, but right at Keller. We're inside the 21st minute with no score between Bethel and St. Francis. And we get a whistle. And it's going to be a foul against the Pilots. Well, he might have been looking at Sam Beek, number 10. But we'll get a free kick for the Cougars. Low line drive. Keller there had to come out of the box, but there was not a single white jersey where he sent that ball. Kicked upfield. But there's a couple of white jerseys there this time. As Jose Barquin was trying to go for the takeaway, but now they've got a takeaway. But still, it would have been hard to get a shot off in that situation. That was a 2-on-3 that Bethel was trying to take advantage of. Headed back across midfield by Escalante. This ball will roll out of bounds, and we'll get a throw-in for the Cougars. Long line drive across midfield, but there's Escalante again. And another one redirected by the Pilots. Taken away that time by Barquin. Try to get it up ahead to him, but it's beyond him. And now here come the Cougars the other way. Slowed down a little bit. Good defense there by Aragin. Will this ball stay in bounds? It will. Kept in play by Condor. Sends it to the far side, but that's going to go out of play. And it's going to be a goal kick for the Pilots. We have not had a corner kick yet in this game. That may change as the game goes on, but so far none to speak of. Phil Keller to send it in play. Keller, a native of Middlebury, Indiana. And that goes a long way. And taken away by the Pilots. Sent over to Marrero. And Bethel will backtrack as Barquin has it stolen away by the Cougars, but taken right back. Defender on. Tanner Gibson nearly lost control. That one sends it to the middle. Morera, defenders all around him. That would have been a 1-on-4. Had he gone for the shot, really didn't have a clean look. And a couple of players slipping, falling out on that turf. And now Keller, again, he can't pick it up, so he just boots it a long way, and I do mean a long way. The wind might have slowed that down, but it went all the way into the stands. Had a couple of games on Saturday in Kokomo that were heavily affected by the wind. Now, here in Indiana, most people have heard of Kokomo, Indiana. Outside this state, if you've ever heard of Kokomo, probably the only Kokomo you've heard of is the Beach Boys song. Well, with the atmosphere that was surrounding those games on Saturday, that would not have inspired any Beach Boys songs. Back the other way come the Pilots. This is Morera down the field. This is not offsides. You've got defenders trailing. Carrera leaves it off, and the Pilots are forced to work it back outside. Good job defensively by the Cougars. And now a player goes down, and we will get a whistle, and this will be a free kick. I think that was Condor who knocked down number 18 for the Pilots. That's Isaac Nunez. Nunez, a native of Mishawaka, Indiana, which is where Bethel College is located. Send it back to Kahn and have him kick it out of the box. And now another whistle. They're going to have him do it again. 20 minutes to go in this first half. Deflected, but still St. Francis looks to create a scoring opportunity. Neither team has really dominated the possession so far. They possess the ball on each other's side of the field rather evenly. But now St. Francis gets a ball across midfield. There's defenders all around that kick, but taken away by the Cougars. Shot is saved by Keller, still alive. And cleared out of the box, but St. Francis may be able to create another scoring chance. This one's sent to the box, but there's defenders all around. And particularly, I believe that's Elijah Kerr. And this ball goes out of bounds, and a couple of players get tangled up. It's just going to be a simple throw-in. Check that. Well, it may be a simple throw-in, but it's going to be Bethel's ball. We'll get some subs coming in the game. Bruno Yager comes in for Bethel along with Danny Aragine. So in spite of the contact that took place, may just be a throw-in, but right now the officials are explaining to the coaches. Meanwhile, no score between the Pilots and the Cougars. And it will simply be a throw-in by Kerr. He has it headed back across midfield. Back and forth they go. There's defenders all around. Cougars trying to create something, but we're going to get a free kick here. Alex Murray, I believe, was the one being held there. I checked that. I believe that was Juan Franco Lopez. And he'll get the free kick with less than 19 minutes to play. And Keller able to sky to pick that one out. Again, this kid is 6'5", so he towers over everybody on that field. I'll send it back to him. And he didn't quite get the angle he wanted on that kick as it goes out of bounds. Here's Condor to throw it in play. A couple players going up there for the header. Into the box, but there's defenders all around, and Keller just pushes that one out of there. I don't know if he's putting a fist out to knock these balls out or what, but either way, he's getting the job done. He's not scooping up a lot of shots, though. That would probably cause a concern to just about any coach. Keller will scoop this one up. Still no score. And Keller sends that one across midfield. Bethel trying to get something going. That's Cuellar. Check that. That was Barker. Colin Barker, number 3, going after that loose ball. Well, St. Francis, they've been controlling the ball on the Bethel side of the field the last couple minutes recently, but now Bethel has a chance to change that as they get it across midfield. They got a defender, had a player beyond the defense there, but good defense by the Cougars. That was Bruno Jager, who had a chance to go after that loose ball. And back the other way come the Cougars. Good save there by Kerr. Check that. This is the Pilots with the ball. Both teams have essentially the same colors as we get a whistle here against the Cougars. That was Jager going down. And fortunately, he's able to get back up on his feet. A free kick coming up here for the Pilots as Finn Lubin gets set to put it in play. Check that, it's Morera. A lot of players down there and scooped out by Kahn. And he'll just fling it up the field. He's got Cuellar down there, but he throws a little beyond his reach. Down the field into the box, and there is Kahn to scoop it up. We remain scoreless here in Fort Wayne. Back the other way come the Pilots. Trying to get up the field from Herrera. He's past the defense. Kahn comes out, but he's able to save it. Beg your pardon, that's Kyle Murray in net tonight. So Bethel will try to reset. And now back the other way come the Cougars, trying to take advantage, trying to create a scoring chance. Kicked into the box and cleared out by the Pilots. Loose ball. Graham Denny going after it, and this ball goes out of play. That's headed back the other way. We're going to get a whistle and apparently a push against the Cougars. Trying to see who the number was. Well, either way, it's going to be a free kick for the Pilots. Into the box, but there's defenders all around. And Bethel will reset. Another shot into the box. Header. And kicked over the net. That actually deflected off the upright, it looked like. Now, unfortunately, anything that hits the upright or goes through the upright, obviously in this sport, does not count for anything. Actually, for St. Francis, it's very fortunate. Escalante sends it upfield. Kicked upfield again. This one for Finn Lubin, but Murray is there, and he almost lost control of that one. This one stays in. And now can the Cougars get something going? We've got no score, and we are in the 33rd minute, I beg your pardon. That stays in bounds, but not for long. Condor ready to throw it in play, but we got some subs that are going to come on the field first. Two in particular. This is Rene Koyazis and Zach Schoon. Koyazis, a native of Los Angeles, and Schoon, a native of Ludington, Michigan. It's either Ludington or Ludington. Throw in by Condor. Here's Cuellar trying to make a move. Has defenders there, and that's headed out of play. It's going to be a goal kick. It was close. That could have easily been called off of Bethel. But they didn't see it that way. That would have been our first corner kick of the game had it been off of Bethel. But here's Keller to kick it away. This is the 34th minute. And Keller's kick goes all the way beyond midfield. Somewhat amazing to think that with a 6'5" goalie, a team would have lost 7 games, but Bethel is 9-7-1. And the throw-in will go to St. Francis. Condor gets it in play. Defender on all the way. That was Schoon. And now the Cougars get it across midfield. Still loose. And now here comes Bethel the other way, trying to create a scoring chance. Shot, and that's deflected, but still a chance for the Cougars. Another one deflected. And this goes all the way to the sideline, but kept in play by the Pilots. This is Barker trying to make a move. Shot into the box. Kick over the net. I believe that was Condor who took the shot there, and that was the best chance that the Cougars have had. But if you're trying to kick it over a 6'5" keeper and Phil Keller, good luck. If he stretches his arms up towards the sky, those arms are going to touch the top of the top goalpost. Player falls down, and we're going to get a free kick for the Cougars. They call that one on Bruno Jager. And quickly, the Cougars put it in play. That one headed all the way to the sideline, but goes out. That's going to lead to a goal kick for the Pilots. Less than 9 minutes to go in this first half, with no score between Bethel and St. Francis. And that one's headed across midfield. This ball goes out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for St. Francis. Condor gets that one in play. This is Juan Franco Lopez with the ball. And he sends it down the field. Will that stay in play? It will. There are defenders around, but Cuellar able to control. Trying to push through traffic. Cuellar, the cross. Kicked out of there. Bethel going for the takeaway. They don't get it, and we've got a player down. Play has not been stopped. That ball headed back the other way. Play still not stopped. And now they stop it. And they're going to have to bring out the training staff. And while they do, we will take a break here on Summit City Sports.
Taught me years ago. Do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
The Chapel project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Well, the injured player there was Rene Collazos. Helped off the field. He was able to walk partially under his own power, but with a little help from the training staff as well. And well, we could see from up here he was clearly limping. The ball's kicked right towards. It's going to be kicked out of the box. And a throw-in coming for the Pilots. Throw in for the Pilots as they try to create a scoring opportunity here. No score. And had that ball gotten to Gabriel Ferreira, that might have been offsides. It looked like he was past every defender. Schlegel boots it down the field, but there are defenders all around that. And now Bethel takes over. Javier Vera with the ball, got a defender on him, and the throw-in is going to go to Bethel. This is the 39th minute here in this first half. 6:35 and counting to play. Vera sends it back to Kerr, trying to get it through traffic. That one stays in play, and Ferreira puts it toward the net, looking for the header. Two players collide. And that's kicked out of there, and we're going to get a whistle. I believe that was Javier Vera colliding with Kyle Murray. And we're going to get a stoppage in play because, well, only because Vera is tying his shoe. At first, I saw him kneeling. I thought maybe he might be hurt, but no, he's just simply tying his shoe. And he's able to stay in the game, fortunately. Obviously, we don't want anybody tripping and falling over themselves out on the field. There are unavoidable accidents, but there are also avoidable accidents. Murray sends that one upfield. And it'll be a throw-in for the Pilots. And taken away this time by Barker. Barker upfield. Looking for Cuellar. He finds him. And Cuellar with a nice behind-the-back kick. And he tries to re-control possession. And well, we almost got a whistle there. Now we do get one. They'll give it back to the Pilots. They're going to bring Phil Keller out to kick it away. And he boots that one a long way. That one might have gone a good 60 yards down the field. Defenders all around as Bethel tries to control, but they'll reset. And Keller with a man on, clears it out of there. He had Cuellar coming in looking for the takeaway. That made things interesting real quick, but back the other way comes Ferreira, sends it to the middle, but there are defenders there again. Ferreira with it again, trying to make his move. 2 defenders on that time, but a throw-in coming up for the Pilots. Tripped and a whistle. And then it looked like a shove there at the end. Well, some folks calling for a red card here. Bruno Yager tripped up Colin Barker. And there's the yellow card given to Yager. So he gets the yellow, and now another yellow card issued. This one to St. Francis. I think that was Barker, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, check that. That's number 11, Dane Jesse. So 2 yellow cards there. One for Bethel's Bruno Yager and one for St. Francis's Dane Jesse. One more, and, well, it won't be one more yellow card for him. I think it would just be a plain red card. So 4:12 to go, we're going to get a free kick for the Cougars. Murray was coming out, looked like he was about to take the kick, but he stops just outside the box. Maybe they're trying to sort out who this kick should be on. There were yellow cards on both players. Yager did trip Barker. Then Barker, I believe, gave a little shove at the end as he was getting up. So the Bethel side may be arguing that maybe they should get the free kick. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And it's not. Long kick down the field, but there are defenders there. It's hard to score off a long free kick, obviously, but the Cougars had a chance to set up a quality possession. Cross to the middle, shot, deflected, and back the other way come the Pilots. Less than 4 minutes to play in this first half, and it'll be a throw-in for the Pilots. Sent up field, but there are defenders all around that. Sent into the box. Now Lopez with a long kick. That stays in play. Into the box for for Yager, but taken away. And here comes Barker the other way. Long kick down the field, but there are 2 defenders down there for Bethel. It's now St. Francis trying to get it going, but it's taken away by Kerr. And now less than 3 minutes to play. Scoreless so far. This ball headed to the end line and not kept in play. A goal kick coming for the Cougars. And Kyle Murray to put it in play. Of course, that's not to be confused with Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners, who, if I'm not mistaken, will have 1 year of eligibility left after this year. He had transferred over from Texas Tech, where he played as a freshman in 2015. Meanwhile, back here in Fort Wayne, 2:16 to go with the clock running. And Bethel gets it across midfield. Defenders all around sent to the box, and Keller is there to scoop it up. And back the other way come the Pilots. And this one is out of play. And a throw-in coming up for the Cougars. Here's Cuellar trying to get control. And he sends it over to the near side for Condor. Upfield. And a bunch of Pilots around that ball. Header toward midfield. And the Cougars will reset as we approach the final minute of play here in half number 1. Upfield. Defenders there. And that ball stays in play. Lopez able to control for St. Francis. He trips. And he'll get a free kick, and Lopez remains down. And he will be able to get up, fortunately. It'll be a free kick for the Cougars. But with time running out, we're approaching 30 seconds to play. Header just across midfield. That one goes out of play. And time continues to tick away. Another header to the sideline, and that time will not stop until we reach 0. And now some fights going on, it looks like. Well, I don't know if that was a fight breaking out or some players just didn't realize that play had been stopped. But now the whistle is at 0. And that's going to be the end of the first half. So with no score, we are at halftime here at Kevin Donnelly Field. And we will come back after this brief break here on Summit City Sports.
I chose St. Francis because they made a promise that I would have real-world experience that I could take when I graduated, and they delivered on that promise. For me, the classroom only gets you so far, so they're setting you up with an internship. I had a mentor that they set me up with that was a CEO of a DuPont hospital in Fort Wayne. They offer degrees in accounting, business administration, risk management and insurance, marketing, and finance. You know, they just did a great job of the full circle of not only the education but also the experience.
Blood flow restriction training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout, and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that the buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size, similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to a normal workout, the burn comes within the 3rd rep, and then the 30-second break in between, there's no recovery. I can see the difference and feel the difference. It feels a lot more effective than just doing normal exercises.
Blood flow restriction training is the perfect tool to solve that fundamental problem. But this is something that you don't see everywhere, and you don't see very many places in Indiana at all.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
This is the first time I've been able to do this kind of more complete understanding or view of your body. One of the things that's really important about this is that it's kind of legitimizing us as athletes.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
The Chapel Project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the Bass Mansion will be able to communicate with each other architecturally.
Parkview Sports Medicine, especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings of faith and reason.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
We are back here at Kevin Donnelly Field on the campus of University of St. Francis. No score between the Cougars of St. Francis and the Pilots of Bethel. We did have a couple of yellow cards issued, one for each team. The one issued for St. Francis was issued, I said earlier, was to Dane Jesse. I want to correct myself, was actually to Ross Gramling. And the yellow card that was issued to Bethel was issued to Bruno Yager. Those are the only yellow cards we've had so far. We've not had any red cards, and both teams have really done a good job controlling the ball consistently on each other's side of the field. It's not really been dominated by either team thus far. And so far we have a scoreless game here at Kevin Donnelly Field on the campus of University of St. Francis. We'll take another quick break. You're watching college soccer on Summit City Sports.
First time I've been able to do this kind of more complete understanding or view of your body. One of the things that's really important about this is that it's kind of legitimizing us as athletes.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen, and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Restriction training is a new treatment technique we're using at Parkview Sports Medicine that helps us stay on the cutting edge. This type of training is not only new to Parkview Sports Medicine, but in physical therapy as a whole. And it's really gaining popularity because it solves one of the fundamental problems that we see in therapy. We have a lot of patients who we can't put a lot of stress through their injured tissue, but we still want them to get stronger and still want them to gain muscle size. Blood flow restriction training uses a specialized piece of equipment, a blood flow restriction cuff that fits around the upper portion of an arm or a leg. Doing that, then it partially restricts, but not totally occludes the blood flow going to the limb.
I thought it was gonna hurt, and it does kind of feel weird, but doesn't hurt or anything. I just didn't really know what to expect. Well, you put it on and then you have to lay down and let it calibrate, and it like gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And then after that, get in your position to do your workout and then press the inflate button and it'll squeeze your leg or your arm.
What the research is telling us about training with blood flow restriction is that the buildup of the lactic acid and the metabolic stress that we're putting on these tissues helps you gain strength and muscle size similar to that of training at high intensity.
Compared to like a normal workout, the burn comes like within the third rep, and then the 30-second break in between, there's no like recovery. I can see the difference and feel the difference. It feels a lot more effective than just doing normal exercises.
Blood flow restriction training is the perfect tool to solve that fundamental problem. But this is something that you don't see everywhere, and you don't see very many places in Indiana at all.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Catholic University must have a passion for truth, and we trust in both the power of faith and the power of reason. Both come from God. May God bless this university as it continues to pursue truth on the wings of faith and reason.
And welcome back, everybody. We are at halftime here at Kevin Donnelly Field here on the campus of the University of St. Francis. No score here at halftime. St. Francis trying to break a streak of 5 games where they have not scored a goal. And again, both teams have done a good job possessing the ball on each other's side of the field. It's really not been dominated by either St. Francis or Bethel, but so far no one has been able to put the ball on net. We'll find out if that can change after this next break coming up. You're watching high school soccer here on, you're watching college St. Francis soccer on Summit City Sports.
Medicine, especially since I've been a pro, has been a place where my game has really been able to develop in multiple facets. Injury prevention, maintenance, physical therapy, weightlifting, agility work, all the things that I need to do in order to have an NBA body. This is the place for me to go when I come back home and I need to get a workout in. Always welcome me back with open arms.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
I chose St. Francis because they made a promise that I would have real-world experience that I could take when I graduated, and they delivered on that promise. For me, the classroom only gets you so far, so they're setting you up with an internship. I had a mentor that they set me up with that was a CEO of a DuPont hospital in Fort Wayne. They offer degrees in accounting, business administration, risk management and insurance, marketing, and finance. They just did a great job of the full circle of not only the education but also the experience.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
Everything that I do can have an impact on somebody else.
You can dream any dream and you can chase any dream and you can have a chance to succeed at that dream.
We're here just a speck of time.
Given the opportunities to be selfless.
That's what God does with us.
Not forgetting how you got here and who helped you along the way.
What are you doing for others?
Those to whom much has been given, much is expected.
We are about to get the second half started here at Kevin Donnelly Field on the campus of the University of St. Francis. Again, no score so far between the Cougars and the Pilots of Bethel. Quick look at the Crossroads League standings. Bethel, they are 1-5-2 so far in the Crossroads League standings. If they win today, they'll be even wins-wise with Goshen and Indiana Wesleyan, but they'll basically be in a tie for last place at the end of the day. Right now, Bethel, they sit at 3-5 on the year in league play, that is. They are 6th place in the Crossroads League standings. St. Francis unfortunately finished last in the Crossroads League a year ago. 1-8 was their record. Had a chance to top that one win total from league play, but to do that, they'll have to get a win here. Bethel was 4-3-2 in league play, 12-7-3 overall. And we are about to get the second half started. Bethel's going to take the kick to start things out. Looks like it's going to be Zach Schoon, junior out of Ludington, Michigan, assuming I pronounced that right, to kick it off for the Pilots. Both teams possess the ball rather evenly on the opponent's side of the field. In the first half, we'll see if that continues here in the second. Now the ball is about to be placed. And we'll have the kickoff with Schoon set to put it in play. That's kicked back. And the second half is underway. That's kicked a long way, a low-line drive across midfield, and the header goes out of bounds. Check that, stayed in. Looked like it was headed out of bounds, but this one does go out. And a throw-in coming I believe, for Richard Ontiveros. And his throw-in is headed the other way. Redirected a couple of times. And Bethel will reset all the way to the far side. That's going to stay in play. Kept alive by Ferreira, and that ball goes out of bounds. A throw-in for the Pilots. Jackson Didion to put it in play. He had the near assist in the first half. Near assist, that is. Would have been an assist if William Dos Santos had been able to put the ball in the net, but could not get a clean shot off. This one's flung out of the net by Kyle Murray. Back toward midfield, and that's nearly taken away. They'll play on, even though the player went down. Still in play, and they work that one back to Rolfson Clairvoy. This ball's going to go out of bounds. I beg your pardon, Preston Elenich is in goal here in the second half for the Cougars. Elenich sends it up the field, and that's going to come down short of midfield. And that's controlled by Clairvoy. Rolfson Clairvoy, a native of Jamaica Queens, New York. And back the other way come the Pilots. And that'll go all the way toward the end line. Can the Pilots chase it down? They do, but that ball goes out. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Cougars. Another short throw-in corralled by St. Francis. But now it goes out, and a throw-in coming up for the Pilots. Ball's loose, and the Cougs with a chance to control it. And normally I don't make abbreviations for teams, but there I just did. Cuellar down the field. That's out of play, and a throw-in coming up for the Cougars. Check that. That was Barker. This will be Cuellar to put it in. Play has gotten scrappy at times today, but we've only had the 2 yellow cards. No red cards have been dished out. And there's Keller with the save. And there would have been nobody to head that thing over him. Keller is 6'5". And taken away by the Pilots. Ontiveros leaves it off. Cross to the near side to Ferreira. And Ferreira's shot deflected out of bounds. Defender right there. I believe that was Harris Kostick. That shot deflected. And back the other way come the Cougars as they try to get something going. Stays in play. And a good move to the inside by Didion. Didion with the pass upfield. That goes out of play. Was looking for Zach Schoon. Kind of a no-look kick there by Cuellar. And the Pilots trying to establish control. They've got a player down there, but that's kicked right into the waiting hands of Preston Elenich, a freshman from Goshen, Indiana. Went to Elkhart Memorial High School. A couple of players around where that ball was kicked. And this ball will go out of bounds, and a throw-in coming up for the Cougars. They'll backtrack to start out. There's a defender down there. That is Clairvoy. Headed up forward, but there are defenders where that ball was sent. And here come the Cougars again. Into the box, a header, but off the side and cleared out. That was Nadeo Foster. Tried to head it in, but couldn't get it in the right direction. Again, good luck if you want to get it past a 6'5" goalie. Pretty much have to kick to his left or right, make him dive after it. That ball does not stay in play. And Cuellar frustrated with himself. That one's up in the air. Cuellar. And now Clairvoy will try to send it the other way. And there a player goes down. I think that was Foster who got hit. And they blow the whistle. It's going to stop the clock at 38:52. And there's a yellow card. That's the third yellow card of the day, the second one given to Bethel. And we will have a free kick for the Cougars. Play's been scrappy a number of times today, but only 3 yellow cards of which to speak, and so far we have not had a red card. As the players get lined up inside the box. Kicked into the box, there are players there, but there's Keller at 6'5", leaping over everyone. Philip Keller, the native of Middlebury, Indiana, went to Northridge High School. Now Bethel looks to control the other way, but here come the Cougars. And there were defenders all around where that ball was kicked. Clairvoy with the defender trailing. I'm not sure he saw him. Nice move to the inside, and that kick upfield will be controlled by the Pilots, but not for long. Cougars with it again. Long kick up the field, but that's going to be an easy one for Keller. He didn't even have to leap to get that one. Back the other way come the Pilots. Toward the net and saved by Elenich. But another shot. Elenich going for the save, and he tips it up over the net. I think he got a hand on it. It did not go in, but it's going to be a corner kick for Bethel. It was Gabriel Ferreira who took the shot. And a short corner kick, they don't try to score right off it. It's hard to score right off it, but you can set something up. Elenich went down, still going down. Ball's loose in front of the net, cleared out. And I think we're going to get a goal kick for the Cougars. That was close. There were players all in front of that ball. Could have put that thing in. But we remain scoreless here in Fort Wayne. That stays in play. And it's Foster who comes up with the ball, but a defender on him the whole time. Now 2 defenders near. And the ball goes out of play, a throw-in for the Pilots. Ball's loose, but a player goes down, and they'll stop it. They'll stop play, that is. We'll have a free kick for the Cougars. And the Cougars waste no time putting that thing in play. Sent up the field, but that's going to go out of play. And it's going to be Pilot's ball. Looks like Jackson Didion will wait to throw it in. And he gets it in play. Moreira going after it. Sent upfield and a chance, but there is Elenich, and it doesn't matter because it's offsides. Luca Cardamone. got beyond the defense. Multiple scoring chances so far. We're 10 minutes into the second half, but nobody has put the ball in the net. That ball will go across midfield, headed in reverse and out of play. Graham Denny, number 15 in white, puts it in play. Fabian Mendick is number 15 for Bethel. But here's Denny to throw it in again. Gets it to Cuellar, and that's well over the net. Had that not deflected off the upright, that might have gone into the parking lot. Who knows? But we're going to get a goal kick for Philip Keller, the 6'5" goalie from Middlebury, Indiana. Upfield, Cuellar gets to it. Can he keep it in play? It does stay in play, and Foster finds it. Shot to the box, going for the header. In the box again, looking for the shot. Keller comes out, ball still loose. Denny going for it, but Bethel clears it out. That was good defense after Keller went down by the Pilots. But taken away by Barker, and he gets it over to Denny. Denny along the line. Cardoza sends it into the box. Work it back outside. There's defenders all around that. Deflected by Kerr. Into the box. Couple defenders there, but now a chance. Cardoza can't get control of it. Tries to keep himself in front of that ball. They do not stop play. Here's Cuellar down the line, and he can't keep it in. Or did they blow the whistle before? Oh, a shove by Keller. Well, the crowd wants a red card. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if any kind of card was dished out for that shove. I don't know what that was for by Keller. Cuellar was still along the box, and I don't know why Cuellar shoved him down. He's getting an explanation from the ref, and there's a yellow card. So that's the second yellow card dished out in this half. Fourth dished out in this game. And this one goes to the goalie. But Keller will stay in the game. It's a goal kick for the Pilots. You get it just across midfield. And that's going to go out of play. And a throw-in coming up for St. Francis. Denny to put it in play for the Cougars. That header goes across midfield. Cougars backtracking, and now they'll try and get it across midfield. They do, but it's taken away by the Pilots. Upfield from Herrera, and he tries to send it to the near side for Schoen, and Schoen can't keep it in. Throw-in coming up for the Cougars. Denny puts it in play. Back across midfield for Escalante, and Escalante's kick gets well across midfield. Good defensive effort here by the Cougars. Cuellar takes it away to the far side. Back the other way comes St. Francis. That's kicked around by a couple of different players. That could have easily been a handball. I thought one or two players touched it with their hand, and now a Pilot goes down. Stop play again. And there's another yellow card. That one given out to Nadeo Foster. That's 5 yellow cards dished out in this game. It's going to be a free kick for the Pilots. William Dos Santos will put it in play. Check that. They're going to have Keller come out of the box and put it in play. Back the other way come the Cougars. Loose ball. Schoen went down, and that's going to go out of play. The throw-in will go to Bethel. Quickly into the game is Isaac Nunez. This will be Jackson Didion to put it in play. Didion from right here in Fort Wayne. Went to Blackhawk Christian School. That one's kicked across midfield. It was Didion who had the near assist in the first half, but William Dos Santos couldn't put it on net. But here come the Pilots right now in a foot race. Open net and a goal. Marrera. And a 1-0 game in favor of the Pilots. It comes in the 60th minute. 30-21 to play as Lucas Marrera got the feed from the corner. I think it was Gabriel Ferreira who got the assist, and it was Lucas Marrera, the senior from Brazil. And that kick goes all the way to the sideline. And now we got a player down for St. Francis on the other side of the field, and they will stop the clock here with 29:44. Well, they'll take a look at the player down on the field. Trying to get a look at what number it is, but while they tend to him, let's get an injury timeout here on Summit City Sports. Nope, check that. Check that. He's walking off. I think that's number 4, Juan Franco Lopez. And it is Juan Franco Lopez. As he's trying not to put any weight, or not try not to put much weight on that right leg of his. Trent Taylor, number 21, just came in. And a goal kick for Keller. As this ball is angled toward the sideline, it goes out of play. 1-0 the score in the 61st minute. Bethel leads St. Francis. That ball makes its way across midfield, but now Bethel trying to redirect it. Here's Clairvoy, sends it upfield. There's Morera, who put the ball in the net moments ago, and that was with the goalie out of the box. Or he was in the box, but he had come away from the net. This ball goes a long way out of play. So somehow it did not go out to the left of the flag. It went out to the right of the flag, so it's going to be a throw-in. It will be St. Francis ball, but it'll be a throw-in instead of a goal kick. And a rather short throw-in it is. That's out of play. This time the throw-in will go to Bethel. Jackson Didion looks like he'll put it in play. Didion from right here in Fort Wayne. An alum of Black Duck Christian High School. Black Duck Christian School. I think that's a K through 12 school, if I'm not mistaken. Kick toward the net, but high and wide. I think that was Kerr who put foot to ball that time. That'll go out of play, and another throw-in coming up this time for the Cougars. Still a lot of time to even up this score, and both teams have possessed the ball rather evenly on the opponent's side of the field. It's not been dominated by either school. Some contact, but they'll let them play, and that'll go out of play. The throw-in will favor the Cougars. Schlegel sends it to the middle of the field. Pilots going for the takeaway, and now they've got it. Back across midfield, that's Kerr. Sending it upfield. Morera. And that's out of play, and they're going to call that a corner kick. By my count, that's only 2 corner kicks so far. And we'll have a stoppage in play. 27-12. The play had already stopped because of the corner kick. They had not stopped the clock, but obviously they got to get everything set up. But right now, we've got Jacob Woodruff, it looks like, hobbling off the field, apparently dealing with a leg injury or foot injury. Check that. I think that's actually number 18, Nate Conder. And meanwhile, a corner kick for the Pilots. Into the box and cleared out by the Cougars. But another chance for the Pilots. This one put toward the net and a goal! Bruno Jager. And they mob him on the Bethel side. And it's a 2-0 lead with 27:01 to play in regulation. Still some time for St. Francis to get back into this game. They're trying to keep it from being 6 straight games without scoring a goal, but so far that might be the fate that they are headed to. Still 27 minutes, though. And certainly no time to panic if you're the Cougars. $2-0 Bethel in this final regular season game in the Crossroads League. We got a throw in here for the Cougars. Loose ball, and that's out of play, and another throw in for St. Francis. This one's put in play again, and this time the throw in will favor Bethel. It's Clairvoy to put it in play. Up ahead to Morera, and that's out of bounds. That didn't take long. St. Francis gets the throw in this time. Well, that shot by Yager just crept over the outstretched arm of Preston Elenich. And this one out of play. It's Yager's third goal of the season. Meanwhile, Morera, he had scored 4 goals coming into today. But maybe a chance here for Bethel again. Loose in front of the net and cleared out by the Cougars. Back into the box, but this time there to scoop it is Elenich. And he'll just flip it out, looks like, to Schlegel. And Schlegel sends it up the field. That one's going to go out of play. Jackson Didion to put it in play. Loose ball. Clairvoy sends it to the middle. And we're going to get a call for an offsides, I think. Yeah, now there's the whistle. The official is holding up the flag. Looked like there was some confusion on the field as to whether or not it was going to be an offsides call, but then the whistle blew. And here comes Barker. Sends it across midfield. He's got a man down there, but a defender there as well. That's Dos Santos. And Bethel takes over for the time being. Headed toward the sideline, and that's going to go out of play. Still a lot of time for St. Francis to come back and try to tie this thing. But they trail 2-0 with 23:43 and the clock running. That stays in play. That ball gets redirected several times, and now it's out of play, and a throw-in coming for the Cougars. It looks like we'll have a substitution. Gavin Rubel coming onto the field. And whistles blow as soon as the ball gets thrown in. So they'll have to do it all over again. A long throw in that time by Rubel. Cuellar trying to control. Sends it over to the near side for Lopez. And it's taken away by the Pilots. And they'll backtrack. Pilots holding on to a 2-0 lead. It goes a long way down the field. Morera is there. Defender falls down, and they blow the whistle. There was contact between Morera, and now a yellow card comes out. That's on Morera. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the 6th yellow card that's been issued in this game. It's gotten chippy. And with 22:19 to go, we're going to get a goal kick for the Cougars. And they kick it over to the near side to Schlegel. Franco going for it, and a whistle, and it'll be a free kick for the Cougars. It'll be Juan Franco Lopez to put it in play. Lopez boots it into the box. There's players all around there, but Keller with a little volleyball hit there. I say volleyball hit, it was more like a punch. You don't often see that in volleyball. And 2 players go down. They'll blow the whistle, and a free kick coming. Got just over 21 minutes to play with Bethel leading 2-0 here in Fort Wayne. Clairvoy with the ball. Has it deflected. Sent up the field, but Escalante is there, and he'll send it back towards Keller. And a long boot by Keller. Well, you don't need to be 6'5" to kick the ball that far. Keller is 6'5", in case you're just joining us. And another whistle. This time, a Bethel player falls down. That was Javier Vera, native of Elkhart, Indiana. And we're going to get a free kick for the Pilots as Morera is there. Looks like he'll put it in play, though Jose Barquin is also there. And it will be Morera. Morera with a goal and a yellow card, so he's had a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Shot toward the net, going for the header, in front of the net, and a goal! They'll stop the clock. It may not count. Well, Bethel certainly thinks it did. Waiting to find out whether or not they're counting that or not. I believe that was Jackson Didion who took the shot, and I think they're going to count that. Yeah, they've moved the ball all the way toward midfield. Officials still explaining what's going on as Jackson Didion, the Fort Wayne kid from nearby Bethel College, and a yellow card pulled out. I think they either gave that to Lopez or Schlegel, and now it's up. I think they're giving that to Lopez. So the hometown kid gets his first goal of the night, Jackson Didion, who went to Blackhawk Christian School. Makes it a 3-0 lead for the Pilots. And the card, if I'm not mistaken, was issued to Juan Franco Lopez. And there's the kick, and time starts back up. Kick toward the middle of the field as Bethel hasn't necessarily put this game away yet, but now St. Francis in a little bit of hurry-up mode. Schlegel set to put it in play. Gets it over to Denny, and we get a whistle and a free kick coming up for the Pilots. Or throw-in, excuse me. And Keller will take the kick. Runs it all the way to the corner of the box and then picks it up. Kind of playing chicken with the opponent. This ball goes out of bounds and a throw-in coming for the Cougars. Across midfield. And this is Danny Aragine who sends it into the middle. And the Pilots will work it backwards to Keller, and an opponent there again. That was Cuellar. I was wondering if Keller might try to play chicken with him again. There's a chance at a shot on net. The cross. Defenders there. And that's wide of the net. And it looks like Elenich did not touch it. So it will be a goal kick. Have not had very many corner kicks today. By my count, we've only got 2 of them. Both for Bethel. Off the foot of Aragine. That's taken away by the Pilots, or by the Cougars, rather. That was Nadeo Foster. Very short throw-in that time. 18 minutes to go in regulation, with the Pilots leading 3-0. Cross all the way to the near side of the field for Aragine. And kicked right off his shoulder. And for just a brief second, Jackson Didion went over him to say, hey, sorry about that. I didn't mean to hit you. That one scooped up by Elenich. Back down the field go the Cougars, and that one's taken away. Aragine pushing toward the box. Shot saved by Elenich. He'll flip it out just beyond the box. Dos Santos will send it back into the box for Keller. Line drive kick that time by Keller. Well, who doesn't want a goalie who's 6'5" and have a strong leg? Taken away again. Morera along the end line, but good defense there by Condor to stay with him the whole way. The only downside is it means it's a corner kick for the Pilots. That was a tough angle to take the shot from, but Condor not taking any chances. That's only the 3rd corner kick of the day. And again, all the corner kicks have favored Bethel. This is Finn Lubin to put it in play. Angling it toward the net, knocked out of the net, and cleared out by the Cougars. All the way out to Escalante. Escalante weaving around. And now the Cougars try and get something going the other way. Here's Cuellar. Defender behind him, that's Escalante, and now he's got it going the other way. But defenders there again, and they'll send this one back to Elenich. And a short boot by him. Just barely makes it across midfield. He gets pushed down. They'll let him play on. Perhaps it was inadvertent. Here come the Cougars, this one to Cuellar. Nice move. I think that was Condor. He goes down. They let him play on again. They let it go moments ago when it would have been a call on St. Francis. That one would have been a call against Bethel, but they let it go again. It was Escalante who had to stop there and tie his shoe. Not often you see that while play's going on. Usually see this play stopped at that point, and now I think that's Elijah Kerr who went down for the Pilots. Clock's still running. He's able to get up. And they'll let him take the free kick. Sent toward the box, headed out momentarily, but there's Morera. He backtracks. Into the box. Bunch of players down there. Cross, kicked out. That was Ferreira who tried to put the shot on net, but had defenders all around. And St. Francis thwarts that possession. Foot race to the sideline. That was Cuellar, who had Isaac Nunez giving chase. And with 13:42 to go, Bethel holding on to a 3-0 lead against St. Francis. They had lost 5 straight going into a game Saturday against Indiana Wesleyan. They won that one 1-0. They lead this one 3-0. That was a home game against Wesleyan for Bethel. So they look for a win on the road. St. Francis, they've only won 1 league game all year. That was a road game against Marion. Cuellar trying to control. Have not scored a goal in the last 5 games. They have not scored a goal today. That's one thing they would like to change, even if they can't come out with a win. They'd like to get on the board before all is said and done. Across the box, headed out. Nunez with a lot of footwork there. And taken away briefly, but the Pilots recover. Back across midfield, and all alone there is Arreguin. Arreguin in a foot race, sends it up the field, a little bit beyond the reach of Yager. Into the box, a chance, still alive, and a player goes down in the box, and I think that's going to be a direct kick. I do believe that was Yager who went down there. And since that happened in the box, there's another yellow card issued, by the way. And they were talking to Gavin Rubel. I think the card, if I'm not mistaken, might have been given actually to Schlegel. Well, Yager will take the penalty kick. Shot. He scores! Bruno Yager, a 2-goal game. And even with a train going by, he was not distracted. That's right, he's got a train of tanker cars going by, it looks like. Pilots running away here in the second half. They're up 4-0. And there's the kick. Sent back across midfield. Well, the clock has not yet started here at Kevin Donnelly Field, and now it starts. It was at 12:16 when the goal happened. St. Francis looking for the takeaway. It's not impossible to score 4 goals in less than 12 minutes, but it's very difficult. St. Francis right now kind of with their backs against the wall. That one's nearly taken away. Here's Cuellar. Cuellar sends it up the field. Will that stay in play? It will not. And that one's taken away this time by Condor. Kicked up field. Defenders there. But the Cougars will reset. Colantonio with the ball, sends it upfield. And here comes Cuellar down the field across midfield. And he gets it back. Over to the near side and a slide tackle there in the box. just inside the box, it looked like. That was Peyton Smalley who went down. And they're going to just call it a corner kick instead of a direct kick. Smalley to put it in play. This is the first corner kick of the game, by the way, for St. Francis. That one's taken away by Lubin. That ball goes out of bounds. Try as he might, Zach Schoen couldn't get to it. Here's the throw in by the Cougars, and that's stopped immediately. Ross Gramling was able to put it in play. Schoen back down the other side. Sends it over to Yager. A long boot towards the box. There's defenders there, and it's sent back to Elenich. Headed back the other way by the Pilots. So we've got less than 10 minutes to play here at Kevin Donnelly Field. This ball goes out of bounds, and a throw-in coming up for St. Francis. Well, it's certainly not impossible to score 4 goals in less than 10 minutes, but it's not something you see often. All 4 Bethel goals in this game coming in the second half. That one's kicked upfield. Cuellar racing towards it. Keller out of the box, and he heads it well away from the box. And back down the field go the Pilots. Slowing down that time was Argine. Schlegel looking to take control. Argine nearly with the takeaway. And they did not stop play, kept it going. There's a lot of players waiting around there. So that one's sent up midfield to Schoen. And a throw-in coming for the Pilots. 4-0 the score in Bethel's favor. Well, St. Francis came into this game hoping to get their first league win since the league opener, which was against Marion. Long shot, well out of play. That was a hard boot that time. I believe it was Argine who took the shot. The Cougars waste no time putting that one in play. To the far side of the field, and will that stay in play? It will for now, but not for long. And now we've got, well, that ball was kicked over 2 fences, and the ball boy tried to throw a extra soccer ball to Condor, but that one went over the fence. But now here we have the throw-in into the box. Schlegel with it. But defenders all around him. Right now he's got Dos Santos on him. Kept in play in front of the net and kicked out of the box. And back the other way come the Pilots. Downfield for Schoen. He's past everybody. That's going to be offsides. That was an easy call. And just a few yards short of midfield, the kick into the box, but there's Keller to head it out. And had he not made contact, that looked like offsides waiting to happen. This ball goes out of play. We'll get a throw in for the Cougars. Back toward midfield. Battle for it. And Yager trips. No call. Here comes Argine. Shot. Saved. Still loose, though. Yager trying to put it on net. And over the net. Off the hand of Elenich and right over the net. And did we get a foul? Well, if that's against St. Francis and it's in the box, that would mean a direct kick, but instead it looks like it's going to be a corner kick. We've already had one direct kick leading to a goal. That was Bruno Jager. And they waste no time putting it in play. Shot wide of the net, and that's going out. A goal kick coming up this time for the Cougars. Low line drive kick just across midfield, and that header gets redirected a couple of different times. Another header, and across midfield to number 21, Ferreira. Ferreira with a defender on him, has to send it back. But back the other way come the Cougars. And now we'll get a whistle. Foul from behind called on Javier Vera. Cuellar sends it up the field. Loose ball and kicked out of bounds by number 4, William Dos Santos. Clock continues to move. Under 4 minutes to play in this game. And St. Francis down 4-0 at the hands of the Pilots. Kicked out of the box and taken away that time by Jager. Sends it up the field. This is Ferreira, but good defensive effort that time by Julian Colantonio. Ferreira comes up with it, though. Bethel trying to add another goal before this one's all said and done. One stays outside the box. Here's Didion. Cross, header, over the net. And Schoen went down that time. And he's kind of rolling around in pain. And they'll stop the clock here. Training staff may come out to take a look at him, and while they do, let's take a quick 1-minute break here on Summit City Sports.
Taught me years ago. Do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
The Chapel project is the most important building that has ever been built or ever will be built on this campus. It's in the heart of the campus, it's on Mirror Lake, and the chapel and the basketball.
Well, back here at St. Francis, a corner kick gets well away from the net. And the only person there is Elenich. He'll scoop that one. As Zach Schoen was able to be walked off the field, mostly under his own power, but with a little bit of help. Cuellar, with a defender on him, trying to get around. And he'll send it back as the Cougars try to get something in the net before this final 2 minutes and 10 seconds runs out. Kicked across midfield. Defenders there. That was Julian Colantonio. They'll stay in play for the time being. And pushing down the field, I believe that's Yager. Into the box. Can he get it off? He does, but it's saved. Flipped up the field. And back the other way come the Cougars. Perhaps a scoring chance here. This is not offsides. Cross, shot, Cuellar had it saved. Keller kept it out of the net. Cougars trying to stop their 5-game scoreless streak and keep it from going to 6. In the box, but cleared out. And now another player goes down. And I think that's Yager, and they're going to stop the clock again with 1:02 to go. Well, it doesn't matter whether it's late in the game or early in the game. You hate to see players go down. Obviously, check that. That was Arakeen. He obviously had no reason to fake an injury at this point in the game. His team's up 4-0. So you got to believe that that's legit. He's still hobbling. He's not walked off the field. He's trying to stick this thing out. Perhaps his mode of thinking is, hey, there's only 1 minute, 2 seconds left in this game. I'll play till the final whistle. Keller puts it in play. Sent back up the field. Here's Ferreira. Trying to send it upfield. He does. Yager sends it a long way across the field. Kick back toward the net. Schoen keeps it in play. And apparently they're going to call a goal kick. Apparently that ball went out of bounds. Sent a long way by Elenich. Check that. It goes short of midfield. That was close to being a handball. It's kind of moot point, though, by now. Ferreira with the defender on. And the final 6 seconds will start to tick away. And that is the end of the ball game. 4-0 is your final.